Hey there, everyone. Welcome to our semifinals of the last Premier Challenge of the year. I found some friends here because I don't have a co-caster today. No, I'm just kidding. It's alright. Do you have anything to say, Ditto Quagsire? Yeah, no he doesn't. We got Ben Lee and Allan Martinez going up against each other. In the back, Andrew Weaver and Giovanni Costa are against each other. The winner of these two matches will go up head-to-head to win the Premier Challenge. Alright, on Ben's side you got Groudon, Yveltal, Tapu Koko, Stakataka, Incineroar, and Venusaur going for that. Actually very similar to Allan's side when it comes to having that boosted Pokemon with the weather, as Allan carries Kyogre and Ludicolo, the polar opposites to Venusaur and Groudon. He also has that Weavile, Tapu Koko, Ho-Oh, and Kartana. So Allan has a very opposite team to Ben's side, although both of them do share that Tapu Koko. It's actually really funny when you look at it. Allan's side does have that flying, it's restricted, and Allan is locked in. But Allan has a flying restricted in Yveltal. Ben has it in, Allan has Ho-Oh compared to Ben's Yveltal. They both have an Ultra Beast on there, Kartana or Stakataka. You have the Weather Pokemon, you have, and the Pokemon that goes along with that, that's boosted by speed, Ludicolo on Allan's side, and Venusaur on Ben's side, and you both have those Tapu Kokos and Fake Out users as Weavile on Allan's side and Incineroar on Ben's side. So literally all 6 of these Pokemon are counterparts in a way. It's kind of fun. It's very fun actually. Let's get into it. The leads are going to be very important here. Most likely if Ben decides to go for that Venusaur Groudon combination, unless we see that Tapu Koko, which he will bring in the Groudon, but not the Venusaur. He's going to go Tapu Koko instead. We see Weavile and Ho-Oh from Allan's side, but I was going to say that most likely this Groudon will be the faster one, or keep the this weather up compared. Even though it is a slower one, a slower Pokemon, it is going to use that to its advantage, get that drought up, but it doesn't matter because Kyogre's not on the field. We also saw that Ho-Oh and Weavile are going to be the second and third on the field when it comes to speed. So Ben has this little set here where he can go fastest and slowest with the Groudon and the Tapu Koko. And like I was saying, Ho-Oh is very threatened by this Tapu Koko. In the electric terrain, this Ho-Oh is going to take a lot of damage from a Thunderbolt. And Groudon getting out of there. We're going to see Ben switch it into Incineroar, get Intimidates on both of Allan's Pokemon, and both of them are physical attackers, so Allan's going to need to have some more power. And we are going to see that Fake Out from Weavile. Get rid of that Tapu Koko. It's moved for the turn, not actually get rid of it. And a Sacred Fire targets the Incineroar. And now we kind of put ourselves into a reverse situation. Ben has that Fake Out ready to go. He can use it on either one of Allan's Pokemon, and his Tapu Koko can attack very strongly. If it's carrying Dazzling Gleam, it will be able to hit that Weavile that's switching out to Kyogre. But if it goes for an electric attack, either Thunderbolt or Thunder, it will hit very hard onto either one of Allan's side. And we are going to see that go for the Thunderbolt. It will target that Ho-Oh, so not predicting the Kyogre switch. And Ho-Oh is going to take it and eat its berry. Ho-Oh staying alive for another turn now. And it will be able to move with Sacred Fire despite being in the rain. It'll still do a decent amount onto the Tapu Koko in addition to burning it. And we see that Incineroar switch out, possibly thinking that that Kyogre could come in. It's getting out of there. Does not want to have a shot at getting knocked out by that Kyogre from Allan's side. We don't know that speed tier, but it was a great switch out though, because that drought is coming out and is going to stay. That Kyogre will not get to do very much, though he is going to watch out for that Sacred Fire from Ho-Oh. He has Tapu Koko to knock it out. He can also go for that Kyogre hit if they think that Allan is going to keep his Kyogre in despite the sun. We don't know the item on Kyogre yet. We haven't seen it yet. So there is a possibility that this Kyogre could go for a knockout on Tapu Koko. We know that Ice Beam can do a decent amount of damage if you carry it onto Tapu Koko. So we might see Allan attempt that if he wants, if he thinks getting that Tapu Koko out is important and he's carrying that Choice Scarf. But if not, he's definitely putting himself at risk as both of his Pokemon are weak to that Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko. And Groudon here can really do whatever. It could switch, it could stay in. And we're going to see the Tapu Koko switch out Instead, going in to that Yveltal, we now know all of Ben's side. Not bringing in the Venusaur this time, so he's not going to be able to take advantage of that stun. As we see the switch out, double switch out from Ben's side, actually. He's going to remove that Groudon, go into Incineroar. Now both of his Dark types are on the field. He also gets in another Intimidate out on Ho-Oh. And puts Fake Out pressure on Allan's side. We do see the Kyogre go for that Water Spout. Even though in the sun, it will hit that Incineroar pretty hard. And Ho-Oh will go for the Tailwind. So now Allan's side is very fast compared to Ben's. But Ben does have a possible Tailwind on his side with that Yveltal. Yveltal is just a very versatile Pokemon. I've been saying this all day. It might carry Tailwind, it might not. We don't know exactly what it can do. As for the Incineroar, we know it has Fake Out, and we know it could abuse that Fake Out. So Ben might be able to go for a double target attack here. But we're going to see his Yveltal switch out here. So Fake Out might not show. Not very much you can do with it. We see that Groudon come in, but we are going to see the Fake Out. That's going to go onto the Ho-Oh slot. That does mean the Kyogre with the Water Spout in the sun will hit. It will remove the Incineroar and take a good chunk out of Ben's Groudon thanks to a critical hit. That Ho-Oh flinches and is now going to survive. It is still going to survive despite the flinch. And it is still faster, and it's in the sun, so it has a really good matchup against Groudon, especially because Groudon cannot go for that Precipice Blades hit onto Ho-Oh thanks to its flying type. As we see this Yveltal come back on the field. Now Kyogre here, really not in a good position. It can knock out the opposing Groudon, but other than that, it does have the sun up. So, and with Yveltal on the field, there is that possibility of a Sucker Punch coming out, and the lower amount of health Kyogre has, the less Water Spout does. But we're not going to see that Sucker Punch, and that Water Spout will come out to remove the Groudon. This does give Yveltal a free hit onto either one of Allan's Pokemon. We do see the Ho-Oh use that Recover. A relatively common move on Ho-Oh recently as of this format. And the Foul Play coming back out onto Allan's side to hit the Ho-Oh. And while that is usually a good play, Allan's Ho-Oh is at a -2 thanks to Incineroar. So, and now it's at still -2 because we have this Tapu Koko, but it is in a better position. Allan's Ho-Oh, thanks to the Tailwind they have. This Kyogre is essentially free to switch in and go for it. And Ben is gonna give it up. As he clicks on that forfeit button, Allan Martinez is going to win the first game of our top 4 here. And there you go, the match was forfeited. So Allan Martinez takes game 1. So going into the second game, Allan needs to take this game to go to our finals. And with an interesting team as his, it works. You know, it's a very... when you look at the team, you don't see Weavile very much. You don't see Ho-Oh as much as you used to earlier in the format. But it's a very effective team. And we did see Weavile and Ho-Oh come out. They both work. And having those two unusual Pokemon are makes for very entertaining matches all the time. As for Ben's side, Ben might want to bring out that Stack Attack, though it is threatened by the dual water types from Allan's side. We didn't see those lead. So, in this case, Ben gotta consider here, is that Groudon the right play? Because you do look at Allan's side, it is a very threatening team for Groudon. You have 4 things that can really hit it hardly. And you have that Ho-Oh, which does have the immunity to Precipice Blade. So Ben might want to not bring in that Groudon if it wasn't for that Kyogre, though. Because you do need to remove that rain, get that damage down, make sure Ludicolo doesn't outspeed. Allan is ready to go. Ben, on the other hand, still thinking through his team here. Definitely a lot of possible options. And possibly we might see this, the Groudon and Venusaur combination lead. That would mean that Ben, once again, like he had it last time, the fastest and slowest on the field. So, really, this could go either way. Let's take a look. We're going to see that Weavile Kyogre on Allan's side this time. And on Ben's side, we are seeing that same thing, Groudon and Tapu Koko. And now we get essentially a confirmation this Kyogre is Choice Scarfed, because we see the Drizzle come out first, then the Electric Terrain. So that means Kyogre does outspeed this Tapu Koko. Weavile will be third, and lastly is that Groudon. So that Water Spout will no longer do a lot of damage. Weavile does have that Fake Out, so Ben can go for pretty much either Pokemon to try and stop it. Obviously, the Tapu Koko does threaten the Kyogre, but Allan has that possibility of switching out the Kyogre. But he's going to keep it in while faking out Groudon. Kyogre is just going to go straight up Water Spout in the sun, not even worrying about that terrain or the weather, and is going to go ahead and do a good over 50% on the both. A Discharge from Tapu Koko is going to keep both of Allan's Pokemon alive, even within the electric terrain. So now Weavile has a free hit on either one of Ben's Pokemon, but this Kyogre, now that we know it is possibly Choice Scarfed, a good chance it is Choice Scarfed, or this Tapu Koko is really slow. I mean, that is a very possible option, but either way, Allan needs to get this Kyogre out in an attempt to survive with it, reset the weather, and you really don't want to unleash another Water Spout because it will not do a lot of damage onto either one of Ben's Pokemon, which is unfortunate for Allan here because essentially you're allowing one of Ben's Pokemon to get a free hit because you cannot take him out with Weavile, and there is that switch out, but you can't take him out with Weavile. You have that Kartana coming in now from Allan's side, which is one of those Pokemon which is scary for that Groudon because it is going to be hard to take out with that Leaf, or it's going to be hard to take out unless you carry Fire Punch like this Groudon is going to do from Ben's side. Knocks out that Kartana, is not going to have to deal with that at all. That was really the clutch play there to get rid of that Kartana because Allan would be able to outspeed and go for that Leaf Blade onto Ben's side, especially when you have that little health. There's not very much you can do. We are going to see the Rain reset up and Ho-Oh come out from Allan's side, revealing his second Pokemon, or second restricted legendary Pokemon. And now we once again see that Rain come out from Kyogre's side. So that will bring a Scald Origin Pulse, Scald Origin Pulse makes it really hard to avoid that on Ben's side. Either one's going to do massive damage. You can't reset the sun unless you switch that Groudon out. That's the advantage Ben has, though, in numbers. He has 4 Pokemon left. He still has a shot to go ahead, switch out that Groudon, reset the sun, and immobilize that Kyogre, but he's going to not do that. He's going to, as we see Allan go for that Origin Pulse and having it miss on the opposing Groudon. The Tapu Koko is gone, but Kyogre stays alive. Oh, I'm sorry. Kyogre keeps Groudon alive thanks to that miss. Ho-Oh goes for that Tailwind, and we see that the Electric Punch, or Thunder Punch, boosted by the Electric Terrain, remove the Kyogre, and now it is Ben's 3 against Allan's last Ho-Oh here. And we're gonna see that Incineroar come out, puts that Fake Out in play, and we will see with that Thunder Punch coming out on Groudon's side. In this case, you have that Electric Terrain. Ben Lee positioned himself really nicely in this match, is going to be able to take the win here. And there's the forfeit. So with that, we're going to go into a game 3 of our semifinals here of the last tournament of the year and the season. It's a big ending celebration here. So here we go. Now we saw that adjustment really well played there by Allan to go in to that Kyogre. It didn't work out for him there, and Ben was just able to really show that Thunder Punch really helped him out there, getting that Tapu Koko in really early. That was really well played as well. So both of these two players very experienced. Obviously you have to be to hit top 4, and it's gonna come down to the wire in this final game to find out who's gonna take this matchup. Taking a look, Ben really does have a good advantage when it comes to Stack Attack Up. He's able to knock out that Ho-Oh and most likely knock out the Weavile. And set up a Trick Room, and we know Allan's team is very, very Tailwind oriented, but the tricky thing with that Stack Attack is getting it up with that Kyogre in play. Obviously, you can do a decent amount of damage if you go with that Groudon combination, but you gotta watch out for Fake Out. So Ben hasn't brought it in yet. Will he bring it in this match? Well, only he knows that, as of now, at least. Allan, we also haven't seen that Ludicolo, which is another interesting pick. In this case, it's not really a safe play for Allan to go into that Ludicolo. You do have that Groudon in play, which it does do a good amount against, but with Incineroar, Yveltal, and Tapu Koko all posing threats to it, in addition to most likely keeping the drought up for most of the game, you really don't have a good position to get it in if you're Allan. So let's get into this final matchup of the second to final round. Alright. We're going to see that Weavile and Kartana this time lead from Allan's side. Not going to bring out that Kyogre, as Ben is going to go in to that Stack Attack, like I was saying, and Tapu Koko. Well, in this case, Allan has a bit of a superior matchup when it comes to typing, as Tapu Koko, even though it is faster, you do have to watch out for the Fake Out from Weavile. And with that in mind, either one of Ben's Pokemon will get crippled from a Fake Out. Either you get a really strong attack out, or you're able to set up a Trick Room for later. We're going to see Stack Attack switch out in an attempt to try and survive, while we see Yveltal switch into play here. And this Dazzling Gleam is going to come out from Allan's side, doing a decent amount onto onto Allan's side, doing a decent amount onto both of Allan's Pokemon. Gets that Weavile down to low health and knocks off the old Stack Attack slot, revealing the Yveltal's item, the Assault Vest, and the Sacred Sword going onto Yveltal. Means that it will be able to survive another turn, though there isn't really much Kartana can do against Yveltal. Tapu Koko also surviving another turn. We saw it did outspeed the Weavile. Another Dazzling Gleam can do a good amount of damage. And the combination of that plus a Yveltal hit means Ben has a good advantage. Allan might need to switch his Weavile out here if he wants to keep it in play, and he will switch it out going into Kyogre. Now, Ben does have that possible Thunder attack, Thunderbolt, Electric, Terrain, Boosted Thunderbolt, or Thunder, depending on... Though we have seen his two electric moves and Dazzling Gleam, there's a good chance that his Tapu Koko is not carrying Thunder. But either way, an electric attack is really going to do a lot of damage. But he is going to go for the Dazzling Gleam instead. And it does do a decent amount of damage onto the Kyogre. Not so much on the Ho-Oh. But the Oblivion Wing will cripple that Ho-Oh just a bit more. Both of Allan's Pokemon now down to just around 70% of health. While Ben still has a relatively good matchup in speed here. We know his Tapu Koko is really fast. We don't know how it compares to the opposing Kyogre. There is a chance that Kyogre is Choice Scarf. We haven't seen the item on Allan's Kyogre. So that Choice Scarf is a huge possibility. And if Ben's Tapu Koko is not Choice Scarf, there isn't very much you can do besides protect or switch out. As we see the switch out, Ben is a bit scared of that Kyogre. We're going to see it go into that Groudon as well. A very safe play there to get into a better weather condition. We see that Sucker Punch means that Kyogre is attacking, and it takes a good chunk of damage, but we will see that Origin Pulse and not the Water Spout, meaning Allan will get the same amount of damage either way. In the Sun, that doesn't do very much, doesn't even knock Groudon down half health, as we see the Sacred Fire finish the Groudon off for good, though. Alright, Ben has 3 Pokemon now, but he does have a bit of an advantage when it comes to the weather, thanks to that Sun, and this gives him a relatively safe play into the Stack Attack. An Origin Pulse Sacred Fire might be enough to take it out. It really depends on what the item is and what the set is on Stack Attack. So Stack Attack is going to need to take this. It could set that Trick Room and be much faster than both of Allan's Pokemon. Go for that Rock Slide. But he wants that Kyogre out. He wants the Terrain back up. We'll see Weavile come in. And that Sacred Fire in the Sun is going to do a lot of damage. We're going to see the Yveltal switch out, this time going into Tapu Koko. And we do see that Sacred Fire. So Ben is going to sacrifice that Tapu Koko. Gets out of there. And the Trick Room is up. So now Ben does have that advantage in the Trick Room in that speed tier. So actually very interesting from Ben. A good switch into Tapu Koko there, as it is a relatively fast Pokemon. If the Sacred Fire were to knock out that Stack Attacka, then either way, Ben would get into a better position in the speed tier. And now Allan does have that fake out. Ben has to watch out for that, but other than that, Ben has this advantage in speed. He's going to be able to really hit anything strongly. And we do see that fake out. It's going on to Stack Attacka, which is definitely the more threatening Pokemon for Allan's side at the moment. We see the Brave Bird from Ho-Oh come out onto this Yveltal, doing a decent amount of damage. And it is actually enough to knock out the Yveltal at half health. And will do that recoil damage onto Ho-Oh. In this case, it is Ben's Stack Attacka versus all 4 of Allan's Pokemon. But it is not impossible depending on what his Pokemon are. We've seen that Kartana. And that's going to be mainly the biggest thing for Ben. Obviously, Kartana is a relatively fast Pokemon, so Gyro Ball, even though it's resisted, will do a decent amount. Whereas the Ho-Oh switch out, Allan doesn't want to get that in, and there's that Kartana. So a Rock Slide, very, very likely on Ben's side. We will see the double switch out from Allan to get that Kyogre back in play. Kind of makes it where you cannot go for that Gyro Ball in a safe position. You have to force on the Rock Slide and hope for flinches here. We see that first Rock Slide, and that will not remove either of Allan's Pokemon. So Allan is now still 4-1 against Ben, but Ben, if he hits a Rock Slide and flinches this Kartana, will be in a much better position. He's gonna really need to beat this team without that Gyro Ball though, or with the Trick Room. He uses the Gyro Ball on Kartana, but Kartana's gonna go for that Sacred Sword. It's gonna take it. It's not over, but the Scald is going to reveal the Stack Attacka's item, which is that Pasho Berry. Prevents super effective water attacks, but unfortunately for Ben, that is not going to prevent his Stack Attacka from going down, as Allan Martinez wins our semifinal and advances into our finals. He's going to face Andrew Weaver or Giovanni Costa, depending on who won that matchup. What a game! Hey, this was another situation where it came down to essentially weather wars. There was a lot of really sun, rain, combination of both of those that was really entertaining to watch. And congratulations to Allan for making it to the finals. We'll see him in just a few moments, and we'll see you guys hopefully too. See you then.